This is the scene at Wilderspool, the home of Warrington, for tonight's league encounter. Warrington desperate for 2 league points to stave off the fears of relegation. And Wigan, of course, a little bit battle-scarred after that tremendously hard game at Bradford, which they won on Sunday. It promised to be a very exciting game indeed, and certainly there's a great crowd here in anticipation. The team news: there have been 1 or 2 injuries on the Wigan side. Tony Iro comes in on the left wing. He was substitute, remember, against Bradford because of Dean Bell's injury. And Ellery Handley is in there at number 6, the position he finished off on Sunday. Ian Gildart comes into the second row for the injured Dennis Betts. And Sean Wayne makes a welcome return at number 15. On the Warrington side, a change there. Mark Roberts in at centre, normally a second row forward. The dangerous Phil Blake there at number 6. And of course, Les Boyd back from Australia to stir the Warrington side on today. And Mike Gregory at loose forward, he's going to be another danger man for Warrington. Well, there we can see referee John Kendrew in picture, and it's going to be Joe Lydon to kick off for Wigan. So Mike Gregory has won the toss for Warrington. Referee blows his whistle, Lydon kicks off. There's a tremendous Warrington crowd at that end where Paul Bishop is taking that kick as he hands it on to Mike Gregory. Mike Gregory, of course, always very keen to play against his hometown team. And there's another Australian forward, Les Davidson, who Wigan will have to watch tonight. Big, strong, powerful second row. Offside, says referee John Kendrew, even though Les Boyd wasn't quite anticipating that pass, with the first penalty of the game going to Warrington. David Lyon, of course, who's also a Wigan-born boy, son of Jeff Lyon. There's Boyd, first action as he runs straight into the Wigan front row. The touch judge on the field straight away. Obviously it looks as if there's going to be some sort of penalty. And John Kendrew's having a word there with Ellery Handley and with Sean Edwards. The penalty is, as you can see there, I think from that arm of John Kendrew, the penalty is for a fist in the tackle on Les Boyd. And with me tonight I've got Tom Rathbone, one of the Wigan directors. And Tom, that's a fairly fiery start on behalf of both sides.
Well, this is what we come to expect from a Warrington-Wigan clash, a very, very hard first quarter. The forwards are sorting one another out, and tonight's certainly no exception to the rule.
Well, John Woods has missed that kick. Joe Lydon kicks off into the wind. It's quite a strong wind there, and it's held up just in front of Paul Bishop. So the wind is going to play an important factor, I think, tonight, as Des Drummond, who's always very, very dangerous in the close situations, tries to go forward. Boyd, who obviously is geared up to play tonight, he's certainly in the mood for the aggression. Whether in fact he'll have the stamina to keep going throughout the game, we shall wait and see. It's a fine kick, bouncing into touch on this right-hand side. Certainly the 2 half-backs on the Warrington side, Paul Bishop and Phil Blake, good footballers, and know exactly where to put that ball. Sean Edwards is going to feed the scrimmage. A dangerous situation there, John Kendrew in between Ian Lucas and Les Boyd. And in they go. Well, that's a well-won ball there for Wigan. Ellery Handley at number 6. Sells the dummy to Blake, but very quickly out of the scrum, Mike Gregory. The Warrington defence moving up very, very quickly indeed there, the front row. And Platt sees the gap and he's burst through. Fine opportunities break there from Andy Platt. Edwards with that kick, but it's stopped by Steve Malloy, and it's been pounced on there by John Woods. There's Boyd again, taking it very close to the ruck. So good covering there from Andy Goodway at loose forward. He came on it as a substitute in the game at Bradford and certainly was eager for work there, and he's carrying on the same vein tonight. Bishop with that left foot pushes it across, and it's gone past Tony Arrow playing on that right wing. So Warrington taking advantage of this quite strong wind, which is a little bit gusty here, and pushing Wigan backwards into their own 25. And here's the set move from Warrington, and it's Mark Roberts who takes the ball, but Joe Lydon equal to the task there. Roberts taking it on the angle, going straight. That's the scrum, says John Kendrew. Mark Roskell, the Warrington hooker, unable to get in there. Nicky Kiss there pleading, in fact, for Wigan's head. So there's going to be some fiery exchanges in that front row there. And if John Kendrew doesn't get out very quickly, he's going to be trapped between 32 stone of number 8, and that's a penalty. He's not happy with Les Boyd not getting down there. He's had enough of that, so it's going to be a penalty to Wigan. So Adrian Shelford with his first touch of the ball, but Warrington certainly looked very eager tonight, Tom. They're moving up very, very quickly in the tackle.
Well, that was my impression. They certainly seem very, very fired up. They're going in very, very hard, but it's early stages at the moment. I'm still confident.
And certainly with players like Andy Goodwin and Andy Platt, who've already made half breaks, then there is potential in this side of Wigan, of course, and they're perhaps an indication of the over-eagerness of this Warrington team. At the moment, they're moving up very, very quickly, and they're a fraction too early. As Lydon miscues that kick, it's gone dead at the back, so that will be a dropout on the 22. Because it was the penalty, it's going to be a dropout and not a tap on the 22. Phil Blake just showing the strength of that wind. He's easily made a Wigan 22, but Tony Arrow running and straightening up as he so often does. Goodway runs powerfully into Mike Gregory there, but a posse of Warrington forwards come round to smother the tackle. Edward punching upfield low, keeping that kick low into the wind. That's a fine kick, and that's just drifted into touch. An excellent example there of using the conditions. The wind is against him. He kept it really low and gained a good 40 yards ground. So we've got the scrummage just inside the Warrington 22 area. Paul Bishop feeds and wins easily. Drummond in space. And certainly lots of atmosphere here today. As Les Boyd takes that up again. So Wigan now showing their mettle in defence as both Boyd and Davison feel the crunch. Blake with the kick. And that's perhaps gone a little bit too far. Will the wind take it dead? No. Preston picks it up behind his own line. Hampson coming to the rescue of his forwards as they regroup there. And Kiss making the half break and looking to offload. Ellery Hanley getting into the action, but good tackling from Malloy and Mike Gregory. Arrow coming inside there. Joe Lydon easily beating the chasing Les Boyd and putting a towering kick into the wind there. That's a fine kick against the wind. Drummond in space. And Drummond with lots of room and time, but there is Joe Lydon, quite equal to the task there. It was Lydon, remember, who took the kick, and Lydon who made the tackle. International player, showing his ability in that situation. No space for John Woods, but Kevin Iro did well. Almost taking 2 men out then, but the overlap was on. Malloy getting a good ball out there, but that ball has gone forward. So the knock on by Paul Williamson. It's been a scrum. But good adventurous play from Warrington there, stretching the Wigan defence first of all on the left hand side and then again on the right. The referee very obviously not happy about Les Boyd's performance in the front row, Tom. That's twice I think he's penalised. He was having quite a strong word with him now.
Well, it's nothing new with Boyd. He's always giving problems one way or the other. It must be his turn to have a go in the scrums tonight. But I think the windy, tricky conditions are going to be difficult for both sides. Hence that penalty for the corner, which went dead from Joe Lydon a few moments ago.
Indeed, that wind is quite swirly and quite strong, so it's going to be difficult for kicking as Lucas takes the ball up there. Well met in the tackle, though, by second row forward Billy McGinty. A set move from Wigan as Edwards attacks close to the rope. And obviously no love lost there between Sean Edwards and Les Boyd. Lydon comes in and puts that kick upfield again. Another fine example of kicking into the wind, keeping the ball low. Certainly in the first 11 or so minutes of play, we've had plenty of action, plenty of rugby, and no little incident. Williamson comes in from that wing and taking the ball off Paul Bishop. So often the case these days, the blindside wing, certainly in the 22, will take the ball straight from the scrum half. Well, Phil Blake, who likes to play the ball to himself and likes to kick over the top and follow, there again there, but Nicky Kiss equal to the task. So now it looks like the kick as David Lyon, one of the biggest kickers in the game, punches the ball downfield. Preston in space. Can we see something of the pace of this young man? And certainly, if he gets in the clear, he's very, very difficult to stop. One of the fastest wingers in the game, Mark Preston. But he needs that space, and he's still only a young man. He needs quite a bit more experience, perhaps, to fulfil his potential. Edwards going under that tackle almost of Les Davidson. And he going on his own, running across the field and straightening up. Lydon again finding space but finding Drummond. Good way up very quickly on the kick, as he so often is. Well, so far Wigan are not showing any ill effects of that game at Bradford. They're firing in defence. A very fit side. Phil Hartley talked to us early in the season about the fitness of this side and the dedication. Good tackle there from Ellery Hanley, certainly probably one of the fittest players in the game. Edwards trying to harass there and obstructed by Paul Bishop, but a great take from Steve Hampson. Spot in the gap again. Certainly as Warrington move up very quickly in defence, it's opening up one or two little gaps close to the play of the ball. Well, a bit of hesitation there by Kevin Iro as Ellery Hanley drifted across and then gave him the ball. It's on both defences, very much on top, as you'd expect, I think, in a game of this nature. Warrington and Wigan in the early part of the match.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But just at the moment, it is a little bit close. But I think Joe Lydon's looking very, very sharp tonight, and his winger, who's tremendously pacey. I think we're going to see a lot from that lad in the future.
And there don't seem to be any really ill effects of that very hard game at Bradford. They're certainly firing in.
Not in the least. I think our prop forwards are doing a great job. Nick is there. He just made a lovely run for us, and I think things are going pretty well at the moment. Keep your fingers crossed.
I'm sure Tom will keep his fingers crossed, and all the Wigan supporters, as Boyd takes that ball up, and a meeting of two giants then, Shelford and Les Boyd, as Bishop puts the drop kick in. Is that over? No, it's wide of the left post. Bishop often in the past has been a thorn in Wigan's side with his kicking, either drop kick or place kick, but that time in a very favourable position he lost it, and it's good way taking the ball out. And if not taking over from Nicky Kisso, he's going to have a go from acting halfback, and he does, and gets half through. Ian Gildart driving away. What a powerful run from this under-21 international forward. A fine run from Ian Gildart. Hampson in the line, but just a little bit slippery on top as he tried to change direction there. Lydon again punching that ball upfield, but this time only straight to David Lyon. Well, the game at the moment is being played at a very, very fast pace. Both sides really moving very quickly in defence. Both teams wanting to play the ball quickly. That is a deep kick which has gone far too deep, in fact. So, just showing the strength of this wind here at Wilderspool. A wind that Wigan will have in favour in the second half. Rather a loose ball from Adrian Shelford, and he's gone into touch on that side. The big number 10 drifting across the field. The ball coming out badly from that scrimmage. The ball has come badly out from that scrimmage there for Paul Bishop, and it had to be recovered by Paul Williamson. But Warrington gradually setting themselves in position here for the set move on the third tackle. And here comes the set move with Boyd taking the ball as Davison went on the dummy, and Ian Gildart there meeting the famous Les Boyd and coming out probably much the better in that situation. Well, a shot out there as Steve Hampson came blind. Edwards looked for the gap. That's a high tackle from Blake, but Mike Gregory coming in, breaking quickly from the scrum. And again, Warrington certainly firing into the tackle. 2 or 3 men on every occasion. There's an example again as Ian Lucas took that ball up. So this is a hard, uncompromising game. Strong defences on both sides. Shelford better that time, straightening up and still keeping going. And this time hanging on to the ball, but losing it as Davison pushed him up. Roberts trying to make that outside break. So that's livened up the Warrington fans here. So But Billy McGinty had to straighten up there because Hanley had covered outside. Good defence from the Wigan captain. And there again, but this time pushed off by Davidson. That's most unusual for Ellery Hanley. But Warrington going backwards and David Lyon having to retrieve the situation. Adventurous play here from Warrington as Roberts tries to keep that ball alive. Bishop covering and changing direction, and Warrington in a good position, but good defence from Wigan. There's no overlap there, and in fact that's lost by Paul Williamson. So although Warrington managed to keep the ball alive, there was no time that Wigan was stretched. They had them covered on the left and they covered on the right, Tom.
That's quite true, but we're certainly having to do a lot of tackling tonight, and I think we're keeping it up very well. I think we're standing up to the pressure. Hopefully as the game progresses we should come more into the match.
Well, certainly the wearing down process has been evident on many occasions as Wigan have played, but there, sadly, a mistake by Nicky Kiss. And certainly, as Tom was saying, a lot of tackling to do, and if Warrington have got the ball, then Wigan have got to do the tackling. Well, good way in, very aggressively there. A fine tackle on Les Davidson. Well, Bishop, seeing that there was no overlap on that left-hand side, puts a very fine kick into touch, just 10 metres from the Wigan goal line. The scrum goes down and Edwards picks the ball up, but very quickly round was Mike Gregory on the right-hand side. Both second row forwards and Andy Goodway at loose forward have driven away from acting halfback and gained good yardage for Wigan tonight. And certainly this first half is going to be one of a hard battle against the elements and against a Warrington side which is fired up. Edwards trying to make the gap. Lydon once more, but that time under pressure and with the wind swirling, the kick went straight into touch. The handover because it was the last tackle there. Sloppy play from Warrington. So certainly they weren't really prepared for what was going on. And Wigan have won the ball. So there's an overlap on this side. What will Shelford do? He straightens up and tries to offload, but the momentum was lost. But Wigan in possession, so they really need to try and keep this ball. Cut out on the mistakes. They've made one or two in the last 5 minutes or so, and that's meant they've had to work much harder in defence. Hanley finding that gap and running outside Davison and handing on to Hampson in support, but good cover from Warrington. The referee has spotted something though, and John Kendrew there having a word with Paul Bishop. He'd seen something off the ball. That's going to be a penalty to Wigan. Well, there perhaps just a glimpse, Tom, of the ability of Ellery Hanley. Sometimes he just drifts into and out of a tackle.
Well, there's never a game can go by. Some people might say, well, Ellery's having a quiet time, but don't you believe it. He'll be there, even if he just makes the break in the last quarter that scores the winning try. He's superb.
Praise indeed about Ellery Hanley. But Wigan now in a very strong position inside the 22, building up on their set moves. 2 drives, and now Andy Platt taking the third one, so it's 3 drives and perhaps a set move. Sean Edwards and Ellery Hanley calling out the tune. The switch with Hanley. Gregory had spotted it but unable to beat Hanley, and that looked an attempt at a high tackle. Andy Platt drifting across field and therefore quite easily taken in the tackle. But on the last one, and there the kick through, but that's gone dead. So perhaps a disappointing finish there after a promising build-up. Well, Les Boyd perhaps not running as aggressively as he was at the start of the game, because he's only been over here for 2 or 3 games so far, and he won't have reached any sort of complete fitness. That was an over-aggressive tackle. Gildar going over the top there. In fact, it's Andy Platt who went over the top, so only a quiet word from Mr. Kendrew, but certainly warranting the penalty. And still no score here. We've had over 25 minutes play. It's been all action but no score.
But with this very strong wind, Warrington would certainly be looking for a few points in the first half, because I'm sure in the second half Joe Lyde is going to show us what he can do with his foot and boot the ball down the length of the field.
Certainly the wind's going to play a major part in this game. As Hampson picks up the loose ball, there's been some very aggressive tackling, most of it fair, it has to be said, but that one wasn't. And John Woods being spoken to there by John Kendrew, not allowing Steve Hampson to play the ball. As Tom Rathbone says, despite all the wind behind them in this first half, Warrington unable to get any points on the board. Been good Wigan defence to just get them out. Well, Shelford came out of those 2 very aggressive tackles, and John Kendrew is in again, I think, warning the Warrington players about their play. That looked as if it was Steve Malloy, the number 10. So in discipline on their side, we've just had Andy Platt penalised on this side, but within the space of a minute we've had John Woods conceding the penalty and then Steve Malloy. So we can only hope that the game doesn't degenerate. There's 2 very good sides here on view, lots of playing ability. And one thing both sides will want is to keep 13 men on the field. Lucas takes it up, hits it up aggressively. Good fair tackle that time from Steve Malloy. Shelford hitting it 2 out and running into Mike Gregory. So now in the middle of the field and the switch to the right hand side. Platt and Edwards work the run around, but Warrington moving up very quickly in defence. And they're looking for the gap, running round Woods, but Woods and Bishop managing to get him into touch. Well, such is the eagerness of both sides in defence that nobody really is able to make anything of a break. The cover is always there. Again, Williamson comes in off that left wing, but Andy Goodway quickly out of the pack. Davison trying to get past Shelford, but Shelford a match for him there. So Blake with the kick this time. That's really high. That's a testing kick for Steve Hampson. But again, superb example of how to take a ball. As Tony Iro links with Hampson and runs past Bishop. But Billy McGinty very quickly up there, following that kick. Just a slight delay in the play of the ball there, resorting in Shelford taking that ball rather flat-footed. Goodway taking the ball off Edwards as Hanley gave the dummy. And Lucas has to try and pick the ball up, but Gregory very quickly up behind him, and Wasco on that ball. Blake looking for the gap. Wigan have reorganised well in defence. Boyd going on his own, pivots and drives away, but no real room to go anywhere. Malloy moving aggressively forward, but again, good tackling from Wigan. So this is a real pressure situation now as Bishop sets Gregory in motion. Hit a back ball from Warrington, but they're keeping the ball alive on this last tackle now. That's a penalty. A penalty to Warrington. Ellery Hanley apparently not allowing poor Bishop to play the ball. So we've had just half an hour's play here at Wilderspool, and this only the second kick at goal. John Woods has missed one already. This a much simpler kick. Woods strikes it, it looks good, it's over. That's the first 2 points of the game. 31 minutes gone and Warrington go into a 2-0 lead. So just 2 points of difference as Lydon kicks deep again and finds Bishop once more. Well, I don't know whether referee John Kendra knows exactly what he's doing there, but in fact he's awarded the penalty for stealing the ball. It was Nicky Kiss who came out with it. And David Lyon is going to take advantage and put that ball down the field, fully 50 yards. So Warrington back into Wigan's half as Boyd again takes the ball and uses that short side, but Andy Platt meeting him very strongly there. Blake trying to set his backs in motion as he and Woods combine, but that was crossing, says the referee, obstruction, so a penalty to Wigan. Lydon will punch that ball safely into touch as he does. Goodway taking that ball aggressively forward from Sean Edwards. Now Nicky Kiss, an acting halfback. Lucas fumbling but losing that ball, so the timing just not quite right there. Des Drummond comes in from the wing to take that ball from Paul Bishop, and there's Davison, who's very strong and has already pushed off one or two would-be tacklers this evening. Now Blake, who likes to kick over the top, and he's certainly got pace, but Hanley covering back well, and that's gone backwards, says John Kendrew. Crowd on the far side, mainly Warrington supporters, I'm sure didn't think so, but it definitely was on our camera angle. So we're getting a chance to build up some possession here on the third tackle as Shelford drives forward. That's well met, but Shelford equal to it and bounces out of it. So Shelford v Davidson. Shelford on top, and Shelford on top there as far as Boyd's concerned, and winning the penalty for Wigan. Well, we're just about 5 minutes left for half-time, Tom. It's only 2-0, and certainly it's been a game played at a cracking pace.
Absolutely cracking, but I'm picking out Adrian Shelford tonight. Following up his great game at Bradford, he's putting in a superb performance. He's bossing the middle of that park, and there's nobody taking anything out of him. He's really dominating. I'm delighted with his performance.
And certainly he's been a match for the powerful Warrington forwards. And there's Goodway on the dummy run, and Shelford again showing his power. Oh, but perhaps showing a weakness as well. That was a bad pass, but it's a chance here on the left hand side. It looks like a try. It's a try indeed on that left wing, and it looks like it's Steve Hampson who scored. Well, that try coming as a result of a fine Adrian Shelford break, and that ball being handed on, although it went down onto the floor. Kevin Iro has made a great effort at kicking that conversion from the touchline. But because of the facilities here at Warrington, we just can't quite see with our camera into the corners of the field. So a great fillip just before half-time for Wigan. They're in the lead by 4 points to 2. Wigan keeping the ball alive, and the referee having a go at the crowd having got the referee there, John Kendrew, I think, for what they thought was a possible obstruction. But Edwards certainly didn't seem to get in front of Adrian Shelford there. So Hanley decides to kick, and he's found Des Drummond on this right wing. Now here's danger for Mark Preston. But one thing about Preston, he's got pace, and he hung on to Drummond there, but Drummond just pushed him off and not giving time for Lydon a good way to get in and secure the Great Britain winger. Well, that's a great ball from Phil Blake out to John Woods. And Kevin Iro very quickly, and then Ellery Hanley covering well there. And certainly if both sides can keep up the pace of this game in the second half, we're going to be in for a tremendous treat. It certainly gives great credit to both sides on their levels of fitness. So Warrington on the last tackle now, just outside the Wigan 22. Blake with the drop goal. That could be over. No, that's drifted to the left-hand side of the post. Edwards appealing there for a calming down of the situation as he takes the tap and feeds Kevin Iro from that right-hand side. In fact, it's Tony who's come in from the right wing. Pass again, getting past Gregory, but Warrington covering the gap up well. Good way, keeping those legs going and pumping through that tackle. Now, will Wigan move it wide? They have done through Hanley. Shelford's in space, and Shelford has punched through again. He's gone through Davis's tackle, he's handed the ball to Hanley. I think Ellery Hanley wished he hadn't, because he was met by a posse of Warrington tacklers. Well, Lydon comes in and again pushes that ball fully 50 yards upfield into the wind. David Lyon trying to put his winger away, but Wigan very quickly up there. Well, the atmosphere boiling up here as Boyd takes that ball forward, but no way has Boyd breached this Wigan defence in this first half, hard as he's tried. Blake with the kick, difficult one for Steve Hampson. And Hampson covers across, and that may well go dead. In fact, Hampson has to pick it up behind the line in the goal area. And there goes the half-time hooter. Wigan are in the lead by 4 points to 2. And really it's been a half full of very hard, aggressive rugby. Both sides playing at a tremendously fast pace. We're looking forward a great deal to this second half. So John Kendrew blows the whistle. Phil Blake kicks off, and there you can see in picture Jed Byrne, who's come on as a second half substitute for Mark Preston. who we have to admit was the person who scored the Wigan try. It wasn't Steve Hampson, as we said earlier, but we were obscured from vision in the corner here by quite a lot of stanchions here at Wilderspool. But we've had it confirmed that it was Mark Preston who scored on that left wing, and there's Sean Edwards kicking deep, and a fine kick downfield, but David Lyon has just managed to keep it in play. But he's then driven backwards by some very aggressive Wigan tackling. So there the referee having a word with his touch judge. That's a penalty for an over-aggressive tackle from Ian Lucas. So not such a good start to the second half. As Boyd, who took that ball up rather more slowly than he did in that first 10 minutes. And Lloyd biting the dust under, a fine tackle there from Ian Gildart. Blake uses the blind side, and Ian Lucas has put Kevin Arrow in space. Kevin Arrow looking to pass the ball, but makes a complete hash of it in the end. A great pity, because it was good thinking from Ian Lucas to put Kevin Arrow straight away into the clear. There's Davison in space, and he's got pace, but that looked forward, but Bishop is also running well. That ball has gone inside to Gregory. Gregory's knocked on. So there seemed to be at least two forward passes there, but the end result was a knock forward by Mike Gregory. And as a result, Wigan can breathe again, and the scrum is there. Referee not happy with that. He's not happy with that Warrington front row. And Mike Gregory, I don't think, happy with the referee. Shelford driving forward aggressively and getting past Boyd, but met by Billy McGinty. Lucas drives it up. So Wigan now with the wind at their backs. They've had two drives, and Edwards has called for the ball and has found the gap, almost linked with Goodway. Lydon comes in, as he did so often in that first half. He's punched that ball upfield. It's gone into touch on the right hand side. So the question is, can Wigan keep Warrington down in their half, put the pressure on them? Certainly Lydon kicked very well in the first half out of defence. Can Warrington do the same in the second half? Goodway moving up very quickly there on Les Davidson. And Malloy feeling the ferocity of the Wigan defence. As Blake looks to offload and tries to find the overlap. Bishop has put it down, and Gregory's knocked it on, and that is Wigan ball. Fine players. Edwards uses the short side, and Kevin Arrow trying to find space, and drifts across field. And Hanley has to change direction and looks for space, but can't find any. Running into the gap and running into a high tackle, it would seem. But now we're on the last tackle. There's Kiss handing on to Edwards. Edwards pumps it upfield, but it's ricocheted off Warrington, and that is the last tackle. So it's a handover, and Warrington have possession. Boyd offloading. Davison, who's got pace for such a big forward, but that time doesn't get away, hands it all inside, and Lydon very quickly upon Steve Malloy. And again, Lydon working hard in defence. And again, great tackling from Joe Lydon. That's 3 tackles on the run. Well, Les Davison, no match there for Ellery Handley. Well, Bishop with that left foot punching the ball upfield. Touch judge coming on the field, Tom, for something that's happened, but what are your thoughts so far?
Just going to say the pace of the game hasn't slackened at all. Both sides are still going at it 100%, and it still could be anybody's game. I still fancy us, quietly.
Well, Tommy, obviously the optimist here, and Wigan in the lead, but it looks as if the touch judge is speaking to referee John Kendrew about an incident which happened way downfield. And Les Boyd is involved there, and so is Ellery Hanley. But the matter seems to have been resolved, and play will go on. So Edwards feeds the scrum, and it's well won, and he breaks away from the scrummage, tries to find the gap, which isn't there. And Gregory tries him backwards a good 10 yards. Here's Warrington showing their defensive qualities now as Wigan desperately try to drive away. And that ball has been lost with the ferocity of that Warrington tackling. So as Tom said, there's no let-up. There's very aggressive, fast play on both sides. Who's dangerous because he's got such pace, but slips in trying to make that outside break. And there's Drummond coming in, but no gap there as Wigan's defences hold on the last tackle now. Davidson having been tackled there by Adrian Shelford. Bishop puts the ball over the top. That's a high, difficult kick. Up go the defenders. The ball's gone down. It's back to 1. Warrington now in a great position. The crowd behind him as Gregory tries to go for the line. And Wigan hold on. The ball's gone wide, and that's a fine break from Davison, but good cover from Wigan, and Wigan have won possession. Some over robust play there, I think, which referee John Kendrew will have to sort out. He's speaking to Les Boyd, and certainly it was aggressive play from Boyd, which has resulted in the penalty. That's perhaps rather sad in a way, Tom, because there's been a lot of very hard tackling, 1 or 2 niggly little incidents, but really we can do without them.
Well, we can do without them, but this is the same at every Warrington Wigan game. You come to expect it, and it's part of the excitement. It's a real thriller.
There's certainly plenty of excitement here, as Tom said, and everybody will be hanging on to the last whistle as Lucas stumbles and slips in trying to drive away from acting halfback. Edwards punching the ball downfield for position, and that certainly stretched David Lyon. It's gone over the line, and has it gone dead? In fact, no, it's not. He's over his own line. That's going to be a drop out from under the post. So a rather bad mistake there from David Lyon, but a fine kick from Sean Edwards. The game ebbing and flowing. First of all, Wigan in defence on their own line, 5 yards short, and then now pushing Warrington back as Hampson takes the ball well and run round Roberts. Drummond equal to him. The crowd relishing that one as Byrne puts Shelford drifting across field. And that missed move to Ian Gildart as Ian Gildart hits that gap. A planned move there from Wigan, trying to exploit their second row forwards running wide. That's lost there by Andy Goodway and then lost by Mike Gregory, so it's going to be a scrum despite Mike Gregory's protestations there. Bishop feeds and wins. It's been quite even throughout the whole game as far as hookers are concerned. Blake and Hampson colliding there, and Hampson coming off best in the end. Well, the work rate of all the forwards has been very, very high indeed, and the commitment is obviously there. There's Boyd taking it up, and he's not made a gap or a break throughout the whole of this game. Well, Warrington now prepared to move the ball wide. Bishop in space trying to put Gregory away, but that ball's gone down and Woods has to scramble back to pick it up on the last tackle now. But Bishop with that left foot, and he finds Andy Platt, but it's picked up by Tony Arrow. And Bishop following his own kick up quickly. Well, there's the ball moving wide, and Shelford onto Handley. Handley trying to get past Blake. Put Sampson in the clear. There's a gap on that right-hand side for Joe Lydon. Inside to Byrne. Great Wigan play, exploding that overlap on the left-hand side, but Warrington have covered well. Now can Wigan move it on the right? Handy again in play, but Warrington have recovered. Switch inside to Goodway from Nicky Kiss, trying to create that gap close to the play of the ball. Edwards calling out the move, so this is another set move. Lucas comes in on the dummy. So we're now on the last tackle. Lydon, is it the drop goal? It is. It's high. It's over. No. The crowd going up behind, but John Kendrew saying that's gone to the right-hand side of the post. So a tap on the 22. Warrington keeping the ball alive here, but there's certainly no overlap, and Bishop has found to his cost as Wigan moved up well in defence on that side. Blake, who likes to run on his own, saw the gap there, but it's quickly closed, and he's done it again. He is elusive. He's gained good yardage for Warrington. Now Bishop will kick on the left foot. That's a high one. Hampson's coming for it and takes well. So that's one hallmark of Steve Hampson's play. Everybody's delighted to see that catching of the high ball, Tom.
Well, it's never left him, and one thing when you can see him going for the ball, you can have a lot of confidence that he's going to get it. I'd back him every time.
I'm sure it gives the side a lot of confidence in front of him as well. Arrow gets into the act, and certainly one advantage of being 6'4" and about 15.5 stone is that even though you're a winger, you can come into the act and you can hit those forwards and they're going to feel it. Now we can move it wide. In fact, Edwards spotted the gap, but it quickly closed. So on the last tackle, and Ellery Hanley coming in with the kick, and that is bounced into touch. Well, plenty of time left as we have had about a quarter of an hour in this second half. Wigan trying to keep Warrington in their own 25 as McGinty tries to drive out and penetrate the Wigan defensive line. Malloy not going any farther than Ian Lucas and Adrian Shelford. But although Warrington keep offloading the ball, there's always been very good cover from Wigan as Woods tries to come inside. Kevin Iro manages to offload inside to Bishop, but there are those red shirts again, and Bishop has met Ian Gildart. And although Bishop is struggling, it certainly seemed to be a penalty that he played for then. The referee John Kendrew has indicated that Ian Gildart wasn't let him down.
He won the Actor of the Year for that.
So perhaps a little bit like his father. Williamson takes that ball, but really didn't fancy the tackling of Andy Platt. Turned his back on him. And Malloy finds a powerful tackle from Andy Platt and Nicky Kiss. Well, Wigan have got the men in position for defence as Warrington work a switch to the blind side, but there's certainly no way forward for Paul Bishop there. Blake with the long ball and Woods trying to find the gap, but no way forward there, and that's the last tackle. So Warrington probably going to kick. They do in the form of Blake. That's certainly a high kick. And certainly Hampson is going for it. That was an obstruction by Bishop, I'm sure. Yes, John Kendrew has spotted it. As Hampson went for that ball, it was Bishop who came in and obstructed him before he, in fact, he had a chance of getting the ball. So will the effect of this non-stop play be detrimental to either side? Let's see if either side will weaken. Not so far. We've got over 20 minutes left for play. Wigan still in the lead by 4 points to 2. Well, that's a penalty against Wigan. And it was Andy Goodway who was pulling the opposite number down, says John Kendrew. So a penalty to Warrington. That's the Wigan 22-metre line. The set move as Williamson takes it forward. Now a chance for them to build up some pressure on the second tackle. So that's the second drive. Malloy taking it rather half-heartedly there. The crowd getting behind Warrington. There's the third drive from McGinty, who drifts across. Outside Lucas, but good tackling there. Now then, getting very close indeed as here they work the switch. Boyd takes it hard and aggressive, but no way through. Solid Wigan defence at the moment. They need to hang on. It's just 3 or 4 yards short. Bishop looking to roll off. So last tackle, desperate situation here for Wigan. Blake looking for the overlap, sends out a screaming long ball to Williams on this left wing. But a great tackle from Tony Arrow. That's an indication, Tom, of the sort of tenacious defence that Wigan have been famous for.
It's been really great. Tremendous tackling, and it's a real pleasure to watch. All action game. Money's worth for anybody.
Money's worth indeed for a very good crowd here at Warrington. And certainly no shortage of Wigan fans as ever. So Wigan having soaked up that pressure close to their own line now, in the business of taking the ball away. And then I think the kick will come, obviously, from either Lydon or Edwards. Lydon in position there at the back as Edwards is an acting half-back. The ball flung back, long kick. Lydon dummies and sidesteps and runs away. And looks for Gerard Byrne, passes the ball inside. Byrne makes a fine break. And Byrne it is who kicks the field, but that's gone straight in. So perhaps a disappointing end to a penalty, says John Kendrew. If we can spot the referee there, he's indicated that there was a penalty after Byrne kicked that ball. He was interfered with by the opposition. So there is the penalty situation, and in fact Ellery Handley has called up Joe Lydon to have a kick at goal, and certainly with the wind it would be a very valuable 2 points and would stretch Wigan's lead obviously to 4. And that is the distance, and there is Joe Lydon lining it up. He's kicked it well, he's certainly kicked it high. It's over. What a magnificent kick. Well, we had the situation there with one touch judge indicated it went over. The other touch judge indicated it wasn't. Then he changed his mind. Then referee John Kendrew said no goal. He's calling over both touches now. He's surrounded by Warrington players. He's asking them to go away. He's obviously consulting with them as what the situation was. And the answer is no goal. Well, I don't think I've ever seen a situation like that ever in rugby league.
Well, it's absolutely amazing. Mind you, it's very difficult when the ball's going over very, very high at the top of the post. It's never a very easy decision, but I've never seen that before.
Well, quite a dramatic situation there, and all created by the tackle that was made on Jed Byrne, who's now in possession. Well, there's the touch judge in, the touch judge who said no and then said yes, and he's obviously spotted something there, and I think it was that man Les Boyd again who came in over aggressively on Andy Goodway. Mike Gregory appealing to the referee, but that's the touch judge, and the penalty is given, and not so much of a word to the player from John Kendrew. For Wigan.
Both sides will certainly know they've been playing rugby tonight, Alan. It's been absolutely fierce. No relenting on either side, no prisoners taken, and it's still absolutely 100% both effort, both sides.
It is indeed, and we can see from the tackle there on Sean Edwards as from Les Boyd. A scrum, says John Kendrew. Edwards appealing, but obviously it's going to be a scrum. He obviously must have taken the ball from him as he shouted held. There's going to be a substitution, but the referee hasn't spotted it. The linesman has got his flag up, as you can see on that far side. He has spotted him now, and there on comes Paul Cullen. Paul Cullen coming on for Mark Roberts into the centre. Bishop feeds the ball, and it's well won as Blake dummies, and that looked like obstruction there as John Woods is put in the clear, but Iro recovers well and Woods has to double back, and there's the battle as Andy Platt covered well out of the scrum. Woods has to take the tackle. Davidson, who's looked strong and has tried to offload, particularly on that left hand side as he swings round. And now Billy McGinty, who's had a good strong game in defence for Warrington, but so have all the forwards here tonight. It's been a tremendous onslaught from one side to the other. So Blake kicking into the wind. That looks a fine kick, and it's bounced to the ditch on that far side. It's come off the hand of a Wigan player, so it's going to be Warrington feed. So desperate situations here as we come to the last quarter of an hour of play. Is that offside? Not retiring. It looks as if it is, although there's a skirmish that's followed. The referee managing to sort the players out and push them apart. It's a penalty kick at the scrummage for not retreating. In fact, John Kendrew is having a word with Ellery Hanley, and I think he's calling across Mike Gregory. So he's having a word with both the captains. I would think it's probably to have a word with both sides about cooling down, Tom.
I think it is, but it's a little bit late now, Alan, isn't it? There's not been much cooling tonight. But Ellery loves it. He loves talking to referees. He's a great talker, and well, let's face it, he talks to the directors, he talks to everybody, and the referee's no exception.
Well, we can see him there. He's talking to John Kendrew, and he's trying to point out something. Of course, he's a qualified coach himself, and he knows every facet of the law, and wanted to put his point forward as the Warrington crowd urge their players on. Keith Mills almost getting a pass there from Mark Roskell, but it's Paul Cullen in the action. Now the set move as Davison takes it up close to the Wigan post. So again, time for Wigan to defend. Blake drifts across the field. He's got pace but can't get outside Hanley. Great tackle from the Wigan captain. So the inside ball, Boyd taking it forward and trying to offload, but still not quite running at that ferocious power he used to do. Slowly onto his feet. Now Warrington moving it wide. Can Wigan's defence hold out? They have done all this game. They haven't conceded a single try. Is that a penalty? It is indeed. It's a penalty. I'm not quite sure what for, but it was Andy Platt who was on the floor. It was he who made the tackle. John Woods will attempt the kick for goal. John Woods then, a comparatively simple kick for him. It is indeed, it's gone over. That's levelled the scores at 4-all. Lydon takes the quick restart, punches it downfield. Will that bounce over the top? Gregory takes it well. Tries to run outside Kevin Iro, but no way forward there. So Wigan having denied Warrington any smatter of a break, who conceded that penalty, and that's level the scores. Blake swinging it wide, and there's the overlap on that side, but it looks as if they've made a mess of it, Warrington, as Jed Byrne easily makes the tackle. And again, a great tackle there from Joe Lydon. Was that offside? It was indeed, says John Kendrew. As Boyd gives Joe Lydon a tap on the head, but Joe in an offside position as he made that second tackle. David Lyon has pumped that ball upfield. Warrington getting behind their players again as Boyd takes it up. As we come into the last 10 minutes of this game, it's all action. Warrington going through the manoeuvres, trying to drive their way forward and set up play in the Wigan 22. Blake, who's sent out some extremely long balls today, puts Davison away. Good Wigan defence. Well, a fine example of good tackling, but here we are in a position for a drop goal. If Bishop's with the left foot, no, it goes under the bar. A good build-up there from Warrington and driving the ball towards the centre for that Bishop drop goal attempt, but unsuccessful. Any good, we're making good yardage there from that tap. Kiss driving away, but Roskell quickly round. So Edwards pumps it upfield. And that's bouncing well, and it's gone into touch, so that's going to be a scrum just outside the Warrington 22. David Lyon coming into the attack for one of the few occasions in the game. We've seen very little of him in the attack. We've seen a lot of Davison, but that's uncharacteristic error from him as he tried to offload that ball back. Good play from Wigan as their supporters get behind them. Hanley takes that ball well. It's Kevin Iro, but good cover as he gets that ball out to Tony. Warrington have covered well, and the ball has been lost. So the play moving from side to side, as first Davison lost the ball and then Tony Iro lost the ball, and that's lost again. And who's going in for it? Mike Gregory it is. So back to one again. Everything's happening here. The play is so ferocious and fast. Mistakes are being made, but there's some very, very aggressive play out there. Roscoe looking for the gap, but none there. Another fine tackle from Ian Gildart. But there's Blake, who has got pace, almost getting through. Good charge down there from Edwards, and that's a knock-on by Gregory. So that's going to be a scrum down. Tom, the pace hasn't relented. It's been fast and furious all through, and it's staying so right to the end.
It certainly hasn't. It's certainly not for anybody of nervous disposition, this game. Not for nervous directors who are looking for a win.
Well, a nervous director, and there's perhaps a nervous player on the field. Basil Richards has just come on as Les Boyd goes off the field. That's won by Wigan from the scrum. Lydon looking for space. Shelford driving forward. Now can Wigan do what Warrington did and work it up towards the Warrington line and perhaps pinch that drop goal which would secure the game. Hanley and Edwards the run around. Goodway in the gap, what a fine break. There's Goodway at pace, looking for Drummond, he's pushed off Drummond, he hands on to Hanley, Hanley is going to score. What a marvellous try for Wigan. What a brilliant Wigan try. It was the run around between the half-backs, Edwards around Hanley, and then Goodway hitting that gap from a beautiful ball from Sean Edwards. And Goodway was strong enough to resist the tackle of Des Drummond and just push that ball into Hanley's hands, and Hanley, who's supported so magnificently, just had virtually to walk over and score what could well be the winning score in this game. With the score at 8-4, Lydon with the kick, that's over, it's 10 points to 4. Wigan winning by the margin of 6 points. Well, as Blake attempts to kick off, the Wigan crowd now getting behind their team. Tom, that was a magnificent try.
It was, and I certainly hope you're right, Alan, when you say that it could be the winning try, but in a game like this one, you never know.
Well, Wigan have scored 2 tries and Warrington 2 penalty goals. And it's certainly been Wigan that have taken their chances and have denied Warrington, in fact, any real chance at all. With under 5 minutes left for play, it'll be Wigan who'll hold on, and I'm sure it's going to be Lydon and Edwards who are going to be pumping that ball downfield to gain that territorial advantage as Nicky Kiss tries to spin out of that tackle from Mark Roscoe. Malloy rolling over the top there, it's wasting Wigan's time. As Lydon dummies beautifully and wrong foots Basil Richards from Paul Cullen. There's Lyon trying to run out, but Hanley had moved up very quickly on that deep Joe Lydon kick. Now Drummond, who's really had very few opportunities tonight to show any of his paces. And that's one of the reasons the defence has been so tight. There's the gap, and Richards is put through it, but Platt's spotting it very well and does an excellent covering job. So Malloy trying to put Drummond away and Warrington going backwards. And if Wigan can get off, there's nobody behind Warrington having to run back to get in position. So on the last tackle, Bishop perhaps will try the little chip ahead. Edwards has covered, Iro has covered, and Iro has taken the ball. Good play from Tony Iro, and he's still in play, he's still keeping those big legs going. Andy Goodway, whose fine break it was from that beautifully timed pass from Sean Edwards, led to that decisive try from Ellery Hanley. And Andy Platt driving it forward once again. Lucas hitting it close, and certainly those Warrington forwards have worked hard today. And they're putting Shelford in space, and Shelford giving an interception past to Drummond. Shelford passing the ball with his back to the opposition, giving Warrington a chance as Bishop tries to find the gap. So Wigan have to cover desperately now. As McGinty takes it forward, Wigan converge in the tackle. Warrington building it up. Davidson, who offloads so often, but not that occasion. Basil Richards, one of his first few touches of the ball. And he'll remember that one as he meets that posse of tacklers. Ian Gildart leading. Blake puts the high kick up. That's a difficult kick. Hanson comes for it, takes it well. Safe as houses at the back. So as we're coming into the last minute of this game, it would seem that all we're going to have to do is hold on to possession, keep that ball, and those 2 league points are theirs. Playing the ball, and Nicky Kiss was going to go from empty half-back, but that shows how slippery it is there, and he gets up quickly to play the ball himself and keeps driving forward. So on the last tackle now, this is going to be the kick. Lydon is in position, but Edwards takes it himself. Goodway and Hanley as ever up, and Lyon, although just manages to break through Goodway's tackle. Hanley was there. Now Drummond, who's trying to find some space, but only finds Paul Cullinan, who's up there, but all that Wigan defence there, Joe Lydon and Andy Platt. There's been no respite throughout the whole of this game. Mike Gregory bows his head in disappointment. The players congratulate one another, but it's been a fine game, full of very aggressive rugby from both sides. But Wigan it was who scored those 2 valuable tries. Tom, a well-deserved victory.
Well, I think so. I think the 2 tries against 2 penalties, I think it speaks for itself. But I think Wigan stayed the pace, just that little bit better in the last quarter of an hour.
Well, Tom, that certainly was an exciting game and a fine victory for Wigan.
Well, it certainly was, and I think a well-deserved victory. I think the lads absolutely did us proud tonight, especially after that tremendous tussle at Bradford, when one of those stamina-sapping games, and then to come here on Tuesday night and put up a performance like this against the Warrington side, really flat out for points. They were fired up from the start. They tried to make all the play, but our lads never let them get at them. And the fact that we scored 2 tries, I think that just shows the difference. It's my opinion that fitness just began to show in the last quarter of an hour. Right up till then, it was very, very even. But our lads, they're very hard, well coached, very professionally coached, and very dedicated. And well, we've a lot of rugby to come towards the end of the season, and we need that fitness, and it's certainly showing.
And the 2 tries, one of course from a very fine Adrian Shelford break in the first half, and the last one a real corker.
It was a real corker, but the first one, unfortunately, we didn't quite see. from our position in the crow's nest. It's a little bit shaky up here. I'm beginning to wonder this very minute whether we're going to finish the programme. But that second try, what a corker. Ellery, he just made it like he usually does. Never too much effort, just got over under the post, and what a finale to a game.
The defence was absolutely tremendous again. As you said, Bradford must have taken a lot out of their players, but it didn't seem to do, and they were really bouncing in defence and really didn't allow Warrington any chance of making any headway at all.
That's right, but I think the forwards in the first half, they really dominated. Some of the tackling was really tremendous, and like I picked Adrian out in the first half. He was playing with more power. He's improving all the time, and really world class. I think he's must be one of the top prop forwards in the world.
And of course, the one perhaps sad omission, of course, is Andy Gregory. Have you anything to say about the situation?
Well, it's always sad when these situations apply, starting in a rugby league club in particular. But he's a Wigan contracted player. I myself, I wouldn't like to see him leave the club. I'd really like the if there are differences, what I don't know about. As far as I'm concerned, he's a grand little fella, plays great rugby, and we'd love to see him in our squad. We'd like to get him back, but it's the ball's in his court, and I hope when he sees tonight's game, and it probably make him think, well, I'd love to be back in that side, and pulling all the punches for us. I'd really like to see him back.
Well, we hope that he'll be back, and of course there's a lot to look forward to. We've got Leeds on Sunday, which is going to be a tremendous game, and then of course the quarter-final against Oldham the week later.
Yes, well, Leeds is always a tremendous classic, and I hope next Sunday's game is no exception. We always see a good open game with them, and no doubt they'll be bringing a lot of fans over, because Leeds, they're very well supported now. They're the challengers, trying to challenge us for one of the top supported clubs, but knowing our fans, we won't let them win the support game. Should be a cracker on Sunday. Moving on to the Oldham match. Well, what can you say about Oldham? We've all of us have got the thoughts in the back of our minds of what happened the last time we went to Oldham in the Rugby League Cup. We don't want it to happen again. I'm pleased with the draw. The only sad thing is that it's a small pitch, and a lot of our fans won't be able to get there. And as directors, we think a lot about the fans. We want them to be able to see the games. And this is again a problem with rugby league. There's too many small grounds that teams with lots of support, they do have to disappoint people. And well, we'll have to do our best with sharing the tickets out for that match.
Well, we're all looking forward to that, Tom, and thanks very much for your comments this evening. But as Tom said, the game against Leeds promises to be an exciting venture. We'll hope to see you there on Sunday.